It was too early in my awakening. The heroine was still serving dishes in the bar and hadn't yet met the hero. I was still serving in the bar and had not yet met my rich father. After half a year of serving dishes in the bar, I suddenly awakened. I found myself in a spoiled book, and my persona is still that of a vicious female supporting character. Tomorrow, I'll meet my rich father. After that, I was arranged to have an arranged marriage with a man who has no feelings for me, and suffered domestic violence after the marriage. And the female lead met the male lead and was spoiled by his family. She shows me flaunt relationship every day, stimulating me to psychological imbalance, using all kinds of means to sabotage her and the male lead. In the end, I was sent to squatting jail while the female lead and male lead were blessed with twins. Hiss. Which goddamn author wrote this plot? I have money, leisure and a husband. Why should I destroy the hero and heroine if I don't want to live this kind of good life? According to the plot, I was first recognized back by my rich father, and then I was arranged to marry that emotionless man. But in the next episode, one chose not to die and live my good life in peace. Gavin said he was going to meet first love and I suggested he bring a bouquet of flowers. MS. Song's favorite is White Roses. Don't buy the wrong ones. Gavin. He was suspicious, as he should be. According to the novel's persona, I should have stopped him from going to see Sophia. In my original morality, when you're married, you're supposed to stay married, and you're never supposed to go back to your old ways. But that was then, and now I only like money. I said to Gavin, in order to be friendly and peaceful, how about we make a pact? Gavin, what kind of deal? You play your game, they'll keep your secret, and then you just pay every time. Gavin. Seeing his face full of shock, I was puzzled. Isn't that how it's played in your circle? Marriage is marriage. It's all about profit. Feelings are feelings. Who doesn't have an other people in their heart? Gavin was silent for 2 seconds before he spoke. It's common for people to play with each other after marriage. But it's not common for people to ask their husbands for silence fee. I spread my hands. Men have no money to rely on. Gavin. Just as Gavin left, Nina called me. According to the time estimation, by this time, she and the male lead Vincent were already together. She would tell me how much Vincent spoiled her and then ask in passing how I was doing. Gavin has to go and spend time with that first love of his every now and then, so of course I wasn't doing well according to the original plot. But Nina, I don't know if it's because of her low IQ or on purpose, she doesn't care much about me. But her flaunt relationship is getting more and more. I'm the daughter of wealthy family, but I can't even compare to her. Can I not be angry? But now I'm really not angry. When Nina asked me how I was doing, I smiled and said, I'm packing. She was surprised. What's wrong? Did you have a fight with your husband? I don't have time to fight with him. I'm going on a trip abroad. Honeymoon trip? No. I'm going alone. Nina was surprised and asked, You two are so newlyweds. Aren't you going to make a baby? I don't think so. Do I have any feelings for Gavin? I hurriedly gave Nina a few words and quickly hung up the phone. When Gavin's silence fee called, I immediately carried my suitcase to the airport. Gavin arrived home in the evening, found the house was dark. He was shocked to call me. Where are you? He called me in shock. Where are you? I'm in the Maldives watching the sunset. Gavin. The day after I arrived in the Maldives, Nina and Vincent came along. Nina said that she missed me, and that it's been too long since I've seen her, so she asked the main guy to bring her here to meet me. But how did I figure out a dash of showing off from that? What's even more outrageous is that she obviously came here to meet with me, but ended up sticking with Vincent all day long, and asked me to take this one time, and that one time. From an outsider's point of view, They thought I was their servant. I immediately decided to play somewhere else. Nina was shocked again. You spend so much money. Want your husband talk about you? I am in a business marriage with him. It's not like he's keeping me. Nina's self-esteem was probably stung by the word adopted, and her face immediately fell. After giving me a heavy look, she spat out in a low voice. Have a good time. Of course I'll have fun. I'm just begging her not to bring the male lead to flaunt relationship in front of me again. Even though the plot sets me up to be the evil heroine, I don't want to play a supporting role for anyone. Can't force someone. After playing away for most of the month, Gavin finally called me again. This time it was because there was a gala that we needed to attend together. Without thinking, I suggested to him, bring MS Song with you. You just need a female companion anyway. And she's a woman, Gavin. Later on, he patiently explained to me that he could only bring me because this gala would be very important and both parents were paying attention. So, how about you say I'm sick? I haven't had enough fun yet and I don't really want to go back. Gavin was very unhappy with my attitude and sneered. This is the first time I've seen you push your husband out. Sienna, you're a real bully. Am I a bully? Why do I feel that all of them are so cheap? According to the original storyline, every time he went to accompany his first love, I would make a big fuss, and when he got tired of it, he simply didn't come home for a few months. I found the place where his first love lives, and got into a fight with his first love, and he got angry and got into a fight with me. In the end, the two families broke up, and outsiders have seen enough jokes. Is this what he wants? I said to Gavin, it's not impossible for me to go back and cooperate with you, but I have a condition. What's the condition? My friend's birthday is coming up in a few days. You go with me and behave yourself. Nina's birthday is coming up soon, so she will definitely call me, and will inevitably show her love. Originally, I didn't intend to keep in touch with her, but she had helped me once when we were serving dishes at the bar. As long as she didn't go too far, I didn't want to break up with her. Gavin agreed to my terms and I flew home the next day. Gavin waited at the airport for 3 hours because the plane was late. As soon as I got to the exit, I was met with his dark and gloomy face. What? Aren't you glad I'm back? I'm leaving now then, Gavin. He held back his anger and shoved me into the car, handing me another bag and telling me to hurry up and change. Change in the car. Gavin reached over and pressed a button and the center fender of the car went up. Change. No one's looking now. I slowly looked at him. Aren't you human, Gavin? He decisively turned his head to look out the window in order not to get pissed off at me. I reminded him, you'll see the reflection of the glass too. Remember to close your eyes. Gavin took a deep breath, but still couldn't stop his sanity from flying out the window. He turned back and glared at me. Sienna, you and I have a license. It's still legal for me to look at you naked. Oh. Then you watch. I started to undress in front of him. Gavin was embarrassed and blushed. You're not going to fight with me, are you? I'm the one who knows all the storylines. Gavin is the kind of guy that if you play hardball with him, he'll kill you. But if you play soft with him, he won't know what to do. After Gavin's face turned red and he closed his eyes, I changed my clothes. When I got to the gala, I took Gavin's hand as soon as I got out of the car. Gavin. Nice acting. Then please ask Mr. Gu to reward me with $1 million after the gala later. Gavin. Facing the people who came to talk to me, I smiled brightly and answered appropriately, not at all like a poor girl who had been trafficked for many years and suddenly returned to the wealthy family. Gavin looked at my eyes also from the beginning of the surprise. Gradually become some. Gavin's eyes have gradually become a bit ambiguous from his initial surprise. Wait. ambiguous. I had a jolt. At the end of the gala, I immediately drew a line with him. I'm helping you this time so that you can help me next time. We belong to help each other. Don't get the wrong idea. Gavin seemed to have drunk too much, leaning back in his chair, his eyes lost in thought. He lifted his hand and tugged on his tie, with the flavor of a gentleman. You didn't marry me just for the money, did you? What else? Is it still for your person? I was incredibly sincere. And then Gavin was hurt by my sincerity. He pulled me over to him in a huff so I could see his face. If you don't like me like this, then what do you like? I blurted out. I like Vincent. Gavin. Isn't that your friend's guy? Keep friends close, enemies closer. I'm the best friend who can break in. Gavin. He was probably shocked to speechlessness by my 3 views, and took a while to come back to his senses. Sienna. Your husband is in front of you. So what? Gavin was furious, ripping off his tie and throwing it aside. Then he took my hand and pressed it against both his chest and abdomen. The muscles were so pronounced that they felt good in my hand. Shit. This asshole is using seduction tactic, right? What are you doing? I tried to take my hand back. But Gavin wouldn't let me. He smirked and slowly pressed up against me until I was trapped between the door and his chest. Saying you like another man in front of me, Sienna. Do you want to die? The position was too ambiguous. The look on his face, the words he said, all too ambiguous. For a moment, I almost thought Gavin had a crush on me. Until the ringtone of his cell phone came, and I saw that the note on the screen was just one word. Julia. How intimate. Gavin looks at it and instead of picking up, he cuts the call off. But I was sober beyond belief now and smiled as I asked him back. Doesn't Mr. Gu like other women too? Gavin froze at my question. I took the opportunity to push him away and reminded him, don't forget, Mr. Gu, we are just business marriage. In the original episode, Gavin used this line more than once to gag me speechless. Now, I preempted it. But the consequence of doing so was that Gavin didn't give me a good face for the next few days. Until the day of Nina's birthday, when I asked him if he was still going to accompany me. Gavin asked in a cold voice, if I don't go with you, will you go alone? No, I can find someone else. A man or a woman? I gave him a look like a fool. For a split second, there was no sound. Gavin exploded. You dare to find a man to go with you? I'll call the police. What's wrong with him? If he called the police for this kind of thing, he would be the one who would lose the most face, right? But from what he's saying, he's probably willing to continue to accompany me to Nina's birthday party. Since that's the case, I don't want to make things too difficult with him. I quickly changed to a smiling face and held his hand. Let's go then. Gavin didn't react for a moment and stumbled a step as I pulled him. As he walked forward, he looked down at our clasped hands again. Then the corners of his mouth quietly rose. Nina's birthday party was a grand affair. Vincent did dote on her. But among the guests, except for me, who was Nina's friend, the others were all friends of the Wynn family and Vincent. Nina specially brought Vincent over to greet us. The moment the 2 men shook hands, Gavin spoke nonchalantly. Mr. Wynn is indeed very charming. Vincent. Nina also looked at me in confusion. I, on the other hand, suddenly remembered that I had casually blurted out that I liked Vincent that day. This guy, it's not like he's going to mess things up today, right? I smiled apologetically at Nina and Vincent before quietly twisting Gavin's waist again. Gavin immediately turns his head to glare at me. Luckily, someone else came to talk to Nina and Vincent, so I hurriedly pulled Gavin to a deserted corner. What are you doing? Didn't you agree to cooperate with me today? Gavin smiled and said. How? By hugging you the way Vincent hugged Nina. Or call you, wife. The last two words gave me goosebumps. I was speechless, but didn't know where to explain. What depressed me even more was that Gavin had this look that looked like he was jealous. But what kind of jealousy was there between him and me? After a few seconds of silent stalemate, someone not far away called out to Gavin. It should be a business partner. Gavin, although impatient, but still give face to go over to chat with the other side a few words. When I turned back, I realized that I had already run to Nina's side. Luckily Vincent also walked away. Otherwise he probably would have thought I was trying to cling to Vincent. Right. Nina told me that she originally wanted to invite other family and friends as well. But the one family is so high up in the hierarchy that she was afraid that other people would come over and be uncomfortable instead. I smiled and nodded, digressing to talk to her about career planning. In the past, we didn't have any background or money, so we couldn't find a job and had to wait tables in the bar for a while. Now that I have returned to the wealthy family and she has Vincent as her backer, it should be much easier for her to start a career again. However, Nina said in all seriousness, I don't have any plans for the time being. I just want to stay with Yen. He has a sleeping disorder. Only when I'm with him, he can sleep. I was naive. I thought that career planning is a serious topic that can't be brought to the top of the flaunt relationship. As a result, I still got a mouthful of PDA. What's even more scary is that Vincent came over after chatting with the others. He put his arm around Nina's waist and softly asked Nina, Are you tired of standing? Nina smiles petulantly and shakes her head. No, I'm not tired. You've done so much for me. You work harder. Vincent, as long as baby is happy. Enough. Is the life of a vicious female match not a life? Why do you have to show such awkward love in front of me? I turned my head to leave, but I almost bumped into someone. It's Lucas, the evil male match. He likes Nina and wants to steal her love. Unfortunately, he's not as strong as Vincent, so he's trying to get me to do something with him. In the original episode, he and I were in cahoots. Not only did we do a lot of bad things together, but we also made people think that I was having an affair with him. So when he smiled and introduced himself to me, I subconsciously tried to avoid it. But Nina didn't know Lucas' true colors at this time. She even thought Lucas was nice. As she spoke, she winked at me again. The meaning is clear. Gavin is not good to me. I can find the next guy before it's too late. Me. Even if you want to find a replacement, you can't find a guy with a face like Lucas, right? But Lucas offered to add a WeChat. I was about to open my eyes and say that my cell phone was out of battery. A hand reached out behind me in the cold and directly yanked me over. I hit my pecs and cringed in pain. It was Gavin. He wrapped his arm around my waist and stared at Lucas with a cold brow, asking, What for? Digging your heels in public, are you? The Chow family is not a leading figure in the circle, but it is still famous. Plus, the two families had some cooperation in the business world. So Lucas was not afraid of Gavin. He even thinks that even if he digs Gavin's corner in public, Gavin will not tear his face off. For one thing, he has to take into account the friendship between the two families. And for another, everyone knows that the person Gavin loves is Sophia. Who am I? Just a pathetic person who was retrieved by the Sims family to be used in exchange for favors while being disliked by her legitimate husband. I had thought about not agreeing to marry Gavin after my awakening, after I was recognized by the Sin family. But when I arrived at the Sin family, I realized that I had no choice. Either I go back and continue to live my pathetic life, or I listen to the Xin family's arrangement and marry into the Gu family. So, how could Gavin possibly start a conflict with someone else for me? Most of all, there are so many people watching the scene. What if things reach Sophia's ears and Sophia gets angry? Lucas should be thinking the same thing, and smiled in an eccentric way. Why is Mr. Gu so angry? I'm just trying to get in touch with Mrs. Gu. It's not like I'm digging. Gavin, get lost. Gavin, get lost. A single word that was so clear-cut and unforgiving that it shocked all the people in the audience. I was shocked too. Lucas pulled his face down and gritted his teeth. Gavin, I gave you face, didn't I? Gavin didn't even look at him, only turned back to me and asked, "You're going to leave him your contact information?" He looked as if he would kill me on the spot if I nodded my head. But I didn't want to have any contact with Lucas, so I shook my head. Gavin's face eased, and then he said to Vincent, "This beast not only wants to dig me up, but also you. So take care of yourself." As the words fell, he didn't care what the expressions of the people present were, and pulled me away. He was tall and long-legged, and I was wearing high heels. I barely followed for a while, but I still didn't stabilize and broke my foot. I was in pain and cursed. "Are you sick? Lucas made you angry. Go and beat him up. Why are you so angry with me?" Gavin stared back at me. He didn't care about my foot. He just asked coldly, "If I wasn't there today, would you have tweeted with Lucas?" "No." The corner of Gavin's mouth was just about to turn forward when I added, "Lucas isn't very good, but the youngest member of the Jiang family looks good." Sienna. Gavin stormed out, looking as if he wanted to eat someone. I, on the other hand, looked innocent. He probably forgot that on the way here just now, Sophia sent him a message asking him to come over tonight. I clearly saw that he replied back with one word, "Okay." So yeah, since you have another woman in mind, don't be hypocritical in front of me. I told Gavin, "You have something to do first. I'll take a taxi back myself." Gavin's face was darker than the night. He shoved me into the car and told the driver to drive to the hospital. On the way, Sophia messaged him again, and when he didn't reply, Sophia called. Gavin got on the phone and told Sophia he was on his way to the hospital. Sophia is immediately worried. "What's wrong? Did you drink too much or did something happen?" Gavin looked down at my foot and said, "Someone else got hurt, not me." "Someone else." Oh. I deliberately laughed and asked him, "Honey, who's the other guy?" Gavin was probably afraid that Sophia would hear me if I did make a sound and hung up the phone in a hurry. I gave him a blank look. "You're too timid. I've told you, as long as you pay silence fee, I can help you hide everything." Gavin. I didn't expect Sophia to come after me to the hospital. And she told me not to mind. But if she was really afraid that I would mind, why would she show up here? I suddenly realized that in my story with Gavin, Sophia was the evil female counterpart. Unfortunately, Gavin and his story is not a spoiled one, but an abusive one. Just then Gavin had an important phone call come in and he walked outside to answer it. Sophia took the opportunity to ask me, "Ms. Sim, have you considered divorce?" "No." I answered without a ripple, causing Sophia to choke. She bit her lip and asked again, "Then can you stand it? The three of us getting along in this way all the time, why not?" I looked at her with amusement. I didn't marry Gavin out of love. If he can find you, I can find someone else. Sophia. I was so generous, but Sophia was still not satisfied. She threw a whole glass of water on her face before Gavin came back. And Gavin didn't let her down. When he came back and saw her mess, he immediately questioned me. "Sienna, what are you doing?" I looked down at the glass of water Sophia had shoved into my hand and couldn't help but laugh. Gavin got even angrier at the sight. What are you laughing at? Julia came over because she's worried about me. You're not happy to see her. Just let her go. Is there a need to humiliate her? I hadn't even said anything yet, and he was already blathering a bunch of output. But that's not surprising. After all, I'm the villainess in this book. In Gavin's subconscious, I'm the bad girl. I would even steal my best friend's man, let alone treat the mistress who interfered in my marriage. Evil female mate. Well, it's definitely a double standard. It's okay to destroy other people's relationships, but not to allow others to destroy their own. I turned my head and picked up another glass of water and threw it in Sophia's face in front of Gavin. See what I mean? I'm the one who splashed this cup. I dare you to do it. A patrol. Sophia choked and jumped into Gavin's arms. It's my fault. I ran here suddenly without your wife's permission. It's only right for her to be angry. Don't take it personally. Shit. The acting was so good. The author of this book should have arranged for her to mess with Nina and Vincent. What's the point of messing with Gavin and I? A superficial couple with no relationship. There was probably too much commotion on our end, and a nurse came over to check it out. Emboldened by the presence of outsiders, I smiled and said to Gavin, "Why are you still standing here? Hurry up and take your first love home." The nurse's eyes immediately lit up with explosive light. Obviously, when filling out the information just now, Gavin said that he and I are husband and wife. Now he's actually bringing his first love to his legal wife. Who wouldn't want to watch and listen to such explosive gossip? Unfortunately, I'm not in the mood for it. Seeing that Gavin didn't react, I took the lead and turned around to leave. When I got downstairs, I called a car. Not 2 minutes after sitting up, I received a call from Nina. She first talked about how Lucas and the others reacted after I left with Gavin. It was nothing more than a lot of talk and Lucas saying that he was going to give Gavin a hard time. Nina was worried that I would be scolded if these comments reached the Sims. Sugar, why don't I ask Vincent to say hello to your parents? No. It's too much trouble. It's no trouble. If I ask, no matter what. Ian will do it for me. Flaunt relationship again. According to my pre-awakening persona, I must have secretly exploded with anger. After all, I had just been wronged by Gavin, and then Nina was in a flaunt relationship with me. That's too inconsiderate of my feelings, isn't it? But really, Nina was so unloved before, and now that she's being held in the palm of Vincent's hand, she just wants everyone to know how good Vincent is. She's not just flaunt relationship to me, she's spreading PDA indiscriminately. Thankfully, I don't have any expectations of Gavin right now. No, rather, no expectations for either the relationship or the marriage. I agreed to marry Gavin only to change my life. In that case, Nina and Vincent's side of the relationship should be put to good use. So I agreed to Nina's suggestion with alacrity. Sure, then it'll trouble you and Mr. 1. Nina, no trouble, you are my best friend. When will you and Mr. 1 get married? Nina was stunned by my question, and then she was shy. Why are you talking about this all of a sudden? I haven't thought about it yet. It's time to think about it. It's better to get married early. Without me, the evil match, interfering, they should have gotten married earlier. The next afternoon, my mom called me and asked me to come home. Although she had a bad tone on the phone, I knew that with Vincent greeting me, they wouldn't do anything to me. Only, as soon as I entered the door, I saw them laughing with Annie. Annie, my younger sister by 2 years. My parents named her with the character and in the hope that she would be peaceful all her life. Don't be like me and get abducted. In fact, at the beginning, the daughter-in-law that the Goof family wanted was Annie. But Annie had her own sweetheart and threatened to die if she was forced to marry into the Gu family. In a moment of desperation, my parents suddenly remembered me, who had been abducted and sold for many years. Coincidentally, the police had just solved a trafficking case, and they found out what happened back then. Then, my parents found me. In the original storyline, the author didn't introduce much about my life. It only said that my parents favored my sister more, and that I didn't get the love I wanted in my original family or marriage, which is why I was jealous of Nina for being so happy. Jealous to the point of madness, jealous to the point of blackness. But after awakening, I found it all ridiculous. Everyone has a different definition of happiness, and the life that Nina finds happy is not what I want. I know that the XIN family and the Gu family just collaborated on an overseas project, and the team is currently short of people. So, I told my parents that I wanted to get into this project to work out. My mom was holding Annie's hand and admiring the manicure she had just done. When she suddenly heard me say that, she looked at me with surprise. Immediately afterward, she laughed. "What are you going to do? By outsiders know that we stuffed a can't do anything Missy in vain to add to the joke." My dad also said, "Even if we agree, the Gu family won't agree. They'll get the Gu family to agree." Probably because my tone was too certain. My parents looked at me differently. As far as they were concerned, I was supposed to be launched in exchange for benefits. Wouldn't it be a good thing if I could gain a foothold in the Gu family and still be able to speak my mind? Therefore, my father immediately loosened up. "If the Gu family also agrees to you entering the program, then we have no problem with it." I nodded. "Then, you guys wait for my news." When I got up to leave, Annie called out in a rare moment, "Sister, what's wrong? Aren't you staying for dinner? Although we don't have any good food or wine at home, I don't think you'll mind." "Right. No, I have things to do." Since I didn't prepare any food or wine, that means I didn't want to stay for dinner at all. Although Annie called me sister on the surface, she actually resisted my return to the XIN family. I didn't want to steal my parents' love from her, because I knew I couldn't. I just want to get more money. Afterwards, I will be able to go far away from home and enjoy myself. What happened that night at the hospital also spread, and reached the ears of Gavin's parents. But this time, the two old men didn't treat it as if they didn't know about it, but lectured Gavin. The reason is simple. Recently I've gotten very close to Nina and Vincent. Both the Gu and XIN families could care less about my face and feelings, but again, they all wanted to hook up with the Wen family through me. I made a special call to thank Nina. Then Nina told me that Vincent was going to propose to her. "What about the wedding? It's in the works. Let me know when it's ready." "Nina, sugar, I want you to be my bridesmaid." In the original storyline, I made a fool of Nina at the wedding and Vincent was furious. Gu Xin's two families were dragged down because of that. And it's been downhill since then. So when Vincent sent me to jail, no one stood up for me. Luckily I awakened and that kind of drama won't happen again. When Gavin came back, Nina and I had a nice chat. I don't know if it was because he walked noiselessly or if I was too involved, but in any case, I didn't realize he was back. Nina asked how we were doing. I said lightly, "He should be with Sophia right now, right? He must have been heartbroken last time when Sophia was in the hospital acting pathetic." "Nina, you're letting him fool around like that. I don't want to care about him. I'm leaving the country in a few days anyway." "Where are you going?" "Where are you going? Our family is working with the Gu family on a project in Australia, and the team is still short of people, so I'm going to get some exercise." Did Gavin agree? I don't care whether he agrees or not. I'm going to, Before the latter words were finished, the cell phone was snatched by Gavin. His face was ugly again. It seemed like since we got married, he always had a hard time smiling at me. Gavin hung up the phone and stared at me again and asked, "Who gave you permission to go to Australia?" "My parents and your parents agreed." Gavin. "Give me back my cell phone." Gavin didn't give it back and said fiercely, "They agreed. I didn't." "Sienna, I'm your husband. So what? Can you stop me?" "You try." With those 3 words, Gavin took out his own cell phone, ready to call my parents. My family was at the lower end of the 2 families' cooperation. So he knew that if he called my parents, his feelings would come first. But this time was different. I kindly reminded him, Vincent was the one who stepped in to say hello on this matter. "Are you trying to punch Vincent in the face by messing around now?" Gavin was probably furious and completely irrational. Vincent, why don't you just have 2 women for one husband with your friend, Pa?" Gavin received a slap from me on his face. His face was full of disbelief. Yes, it was indeed shocking that someone like me, who was not valued by my in-laws and had no support from my mother's family, dared to hit him. But I've awakened awe. I don't go against men and women anymore. Not only do I not go against them, I use them as a support and a resource. I told Gavin, even if you mess up my trip to Australia, I can still get Nina to pull strings and get into the One Group's program. By then, can you still mess it up, Gavin? Save your energy. Go spend more time with your MS. Song. After I'm gone, you 2 will be more free. Isn't that good, Sienna? Gavin was furious. "Do you mind what I'm doing with Sophia? Or do you want to get involved with Vincent?" "Neither." "Then what do you want to do?" "I want to work and make money. I came back to the Sim family for love and money. If you can't have love, you can't have money, right?" Gavin stared at me but didn't say anything. After a long time, he came over to me and pressed my hand that was packing my luggage. His voice was deep. "If you want to work, you don't necessarily have to go abroad. Your family's company or my family's company, as long as you ask." "Gavin," I interrupted him, my tone gentle, "we don't have feelings for each other. I can leave the country to make room for you and MS. Song. And I can be more at ease. It's the best choice. It's not good for me." "Why?" "I don't want you to go." Huh. Gavin's words baffled me. Then he told me that he'd known about Sophia's self-induced behavior the other night. He had a hard time accepting that Sophia was that kind of person, so had been out drinking for a few days to drown his sorrows. But the more he drank, the more often he saw me in his head. Gavin even said, "Sienna, let's try." Try. What? Just to cultivate a relationship. Nurture the hell out of him. I got out of the original ending, and now I'm going back in a big circle. Can he promise to break it off with Sophia? Can he guarantee that there won't be any other third party in the future? Even if he did, I wouldn't trust him. Love is so unreliable. I just like to make a quick decision and break up. On the day I left the country, Nina came to see me off. She said Vincent was busy with his wedding so he didn't come along. "Sugar, then will you come back to be my bridesmaid?" "Yes." "You're just going to leave." "Huh," Nina said, looking around. I knew she was looking for Gavin. The night before last, Gavin got drunk and ran to Wynn's house looking for her, asking her if she knew I liked Vincent. Nina was taken aback and rushed to call me. I was the one who went to pick Gavin up. But before leaving Wynn's house, Gavin had a drunken fit. He said one moment that I liked Vincent, and the other that he liked me. For the former, Nina naturally didn't believe it. After all, Every time Vincent and I met, she was beside her, and privately Vincent and I had no contact information. But for the latter, Nina believed it. She said, "After all, you and Gavin have been married for some days, living under the same roof. You are infinitely tolerant of him, not to mention that you usually take good care of him, so it is very normal for him to fall in love with you." Normal, if we go by the original plot. Gavin has already reached the point of being disgusted with me at this time. It's because I didn't care about him after my awakening, and he found it refreshing to do the opposite, right? He thought I'd cling to him like a silk flower, that I'd be under his control forever. Instead, I'm going far away now. Gavin wasn't necessarily in love with me, it just happened to coincide with his discovery of Sophia's bad side, and he turned back to me for warmth and comfort, but I wouldn't give it to him. The more he can't have it, the more he resents it. That's all. As I went through security, out of the corner of my eye I caught a glimpse of a familiar figure not far away. It seemed to be Gavin. But I didn't want to turn my head to take a closer look. It doesn't matter if it's him or not. I just want to go to the world I want to go to. After arriving in Australia, my life was almost completely filled with work. Occasionally I would receive messages from Gavin asking me where I had put my things at home. In a trance I remembered that he and I were not divorced yet. In fact, the night before I left the country, I mentioned this. Gavin didn't agree. He looked at the house cleaned up, looked at all the things I had prepared for him, and suddenly he couldn't bear to part with me. That's how it is with people. Even if you don't love someone, if you've had the benefit of her and you're used to having her, you can't afford to lose her. I ignored Gavin's retention and didn't believe him when he said he liked me. Leaving proved to be the right choice. During the 6 months that we couldn't see each other, Gavin's thoughts of me continued unabated. If I had stayed that night, maybe we would have gotten tired of each other by now. When I saw Gavin again, it was at Nina and Vincent's wedding. He was standing alone at the end of the aisle without Sophia. When I walked up to him, he asked, "When did you get back?" knowingly. He knew I was coming back for Nina's wedding, and had asked Nina about my flight home for the 800th time. Last night, the car that followed me all the way back from the airport was driven by him. "Gavin, let's talk." "Okay." In the past 6 months since I left, Gavin gradually cut off contact with Sophia. I heard that Sophia went to the Gu family a few times to look for him. But Gavin avoided them. Gavin's parents conveyed the news to me because I was doing well in Australia. In addition to the two families working together on a project that's going well, I'm also involved in the Winslow Group's projects in Australia. Now that I'm no longer the evil female partner in this book, I'm just a close friend of the hero and heroine, utilizing their resources to soar. The Xian family and the Gu family can't do anything to me anymore. They don't even know that I've applied to stay there forever. After informing Gavin about this, he froze for a long time before asking with difficulty, "You're not coming back, who? What about me, you?" I smiled at him sideways and told him the original ending again. Originally we were going to be separated in an undignified way, even wishing for each other's death. I tried to change the ending, and I'm happy with where we are today. Gavin shook his head. "I'm not going to hit you." Of course he wouldn't now. He probably doesn't believe me either. But it doesn't matter. "Gavin, let's get a divorce tomorrow." "I don't agree." "It doesn't matter if you don't agree." After Nina's wedding, they'll go back to Australia and I won't come back. It doesn't make any difference if our relationship exists or not. Since there's no difference, why do you want a divorce? To give you freedom. Gavin was so angry that he laughed. Is it for me to be free? Or you want to be free? I want to be free too. So fulfill me too. Okay. Probably because my tone was too sincere when I said this. Gavin's anger was instantly quenched. It was hard on his heart, but he couldn't get mad. I looked at him straight in the eye and said, "Well, get the divorce tomorrow, okay?" At this point, Gavin knew better than anyone. I wasn't really pleading with him when I spoke in that tone of voice. I just wanted a good separation. After a long time, Gavin finally spat out the word, "Yes." He agreed to a peaceful divorce. I smiled and held out my hand. "Happy divorce." Gavin smiled back and asked, "After the divorce, are we still friends? If I go to Australia, can I meet you for dinner?" "Yes." Who knows what will happen in the future? I've shuffled my life around, bypassing the detours and focusing on the straight and narrow. End of story.